Hi guys, Alistair Taylor here, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. Any of you guys that have watched my videos will have noticed that I tend to do club reviews, compare clubs against each other, or maybe some coaching. But something I get asked a huge amount is about golf balls. And we do some ball fittings down here at Heron's Reach, but I'm going to take 5 of the premium golf balls from 2015. Some are carrying over into 2016. And I'm going to hit 10 shots with driver, 10 with 7-iron, 10 with pitching wedge, and 10 pitch shots with my Sandown that will be about 60 to 65 yards. I'm going to give you some feedback on how they feel. And we're going to use some data from Skytrack, so it's very closed data, on kind of how the balls perform. And let's kind of cut through the marketing from the different manufacturers and see what difference, if any, there is between the premium balls. So the balls I'm going to test are the TaylorMade Project A, the Srixon Z Star, Titleist Pro V, Callaway Chrome Soft, and the Nike Resin Platinum ball. So, like I said, I'm going to hit those shots. I've already hit 9 shots with each ball, with each club, into a net. Now, the reason I've not filmed that is the net sits very close to the camera and the noise is dreadful. So I've got that data on there already, but the last shot with each is going to be picked up. And we're going to look through some numbers, give you guys hopefully a bit of an informed decision if you're choosing a golf ball. And ultimately, you might fancy going for a ball fitting after this. So we are going to go with the Nike ball first. So I'm going to hit driver, then 7-iron, then pitching wedge, then sandwich. I've hit a lot of shots today, and they've all been pretty decent strikes. So there's nothing strike-wise so far on there that would expect to see the ball spin in a particularly out of the ordinary way. So last one with the Nike ball with driver. Good, just my stock little draw. And that's actually the ball I'm playing presently, so I kind of know how that performs on the golf course. So let's switch on to 7-iron. I'll be honest, feeling-wise, obviously this ball feels very normal for me. Good. I mean, yeah, everything about that is very, very normal. I know how it performs. It's just loading across. Let's go pitching wedge. And I would say, generally speaking with me, any of you guys that have watched the videos will know, I probably am not a massive spinner of the golf ball. I've got decent club head speed, but not massively quick. I can obviously find the middle of the club face on a fairly regular occurrence. Pitching wedge. It's good. And I know out of the 2 Nike balls that were out in 2015, the Platinum is the one that should spin a little bit more. And let's hit my little pitch shot and see how that goes. And I think with the Nike ball, there was an improvement from 20XI. Definitely felt softer and for me has stopped quicker when I've played pitch shots this year. Okay, so that's been 10 shots with that club with each one. Let's shift across onto the Callaway ball and see how that performed. I mean, the interesting thing for me with the Callaway ball, certainly in the UK, it was at a much lower price point than the other premium golf balls. And I think a lot of guys switched into that ball this year simply based on price. And the feedback was it performed very, very well. To be honest, hadn't used it before today and hadn't tested anything with it. So I'll be very interested to see what the results were like. So driver. Almost identical to the one I hit with my Nike. Touch towards the toe. 7-iron. And certainly as I've gone through this, with my eye, I've not on the full shot seen much of a difference. And I certainly wouldn't say feel-wise on full shots, I've felt any difference at all. Pitching wedge with the Chrome Soft. Certainly on full shots, I mean, until I see the numbers, I can't confirm this, but they kind of look like I could put any of them in my bag and go and hit full shots and get a similar-ish result. Now, certainly the little pitch shot is where I've found a bit of a difference in feel with the golf balls. I mean, the Callaway one, for me, just feels like it kind of grips on the face a little bit more. Again, I've not looked at numbers yet, so that might not be the case, but it just felt a little bit softer off there. Okay, so going to Pro V. So I'll be ready for a rest after this. Don't give it this many balls in a long time. Bad news is as well, these are all going down the driving range, so somebody, not me, is going to have to find these tomorrow. So Pro V, certainly market leader in this department of golf ball. Again, very solid. I still think if you blindfolded me, I'm not sure I could pick one ball from another with driver on sound and feel. And a lot of you guys out there that use premium balls already, you will have your favorite. And it'll probably take a big argument for me to persuade you to switch. 7-iron. Again, just very, very similar. And like I said at the start of the video, there's a huge amount of marketing, and it's very tough nowadays, I think, particularly with golf ball, to go off what the top players use. You know, the majority of the top players play Titleist. Titleist want to be the #1 ball in golf, and they pay the most guys to use their golf ball. Does it make it the best? Don't know. We'll see, won't we? Again, just very solid. Last one, little pitch shot. I'll be honest, when I first started playing the Nike ball 2-3 years ago, when it felt a little bit hard, that was probably the one temptation there was for me to go back to Pro V, that the pitch shots felt softer. But then I felt that I shaped it too much with Pro V. Okay, little pitch shot. Certainly for me, doesn't feel like it grips like the Callaway ball, but hey-ho. Okay, so we're going to go Srixon. It's quite cold down here today, but I bet that many golf balls, I'm actually quite warm now. Maybe just a little bit more shape. Probably about the most consistent I've been with driver, this. 7-iron. Pitching wedge. Not many left now. And then a little pitch with the sundown. And I've really enjoyed doing this because it's kind of a video I've been thinking about doing for a while. And certainly when I've used Flight Scope, I did start doing it the other week on outdoor mode, and just generally the weather conditions didn't make it great to do. A little pitch shot. See, that for me, and it was the same when I hit a lot of shots with it, Just feels like it slides up the face a little bit more than some of the golf balls. And the TaylorMade Project A, which I've never hit before today. Okay, off we go. Last 4 shots. Wow. Okay. 7-iron. A little bit pushy. Shape back. Good strike. Pitching wedge. I'd be interested when the players move manufacturers as well and they switch ball. A lot of them talk about, I know Rory spoke about one of the big reasons for him switching was the golf ball. And I think a few years ago when Ernie moved from, I think it was TaylorMade to Callaway, he said the move was all about the golf ball. It's obviously the only bit of kit that you use on every single shot on the golf course. So I'm always surprised, particularly when guys come for coaching sessions, as to how many will say they're inconsistent with things like pitching and, they'd love the ball to spin more, and yet they just pick anything out of the golf bag and go from there. Okay, one final one. Good. So I have hit 50 shots in total, which is a lot. I wasn't going to make you guys sit there and watch me hit 50 shots as much as you love looking at my golf swing. But let's look at some numbers and then give you guys a little bit of feedback as to what difference there was as we went through the premium golf ball. Right then, guys, so as we go through, and these are averages, as we go through the balls, driver, very, very close. Longest was the Nike on carry, but very, very close between 237 and 249 carry, and totals between 255 and 260. Spin, all of them were mid to low 2000, which is good. And I know spin's going to be a little bit different dependent on just exactly where on the club face you do strike the ball, but they were all pretty decent strikes for me. As we move on to 7-iron, almost identical, between 158 and 163 carry. The interesting thing for me is I do spin the ball a little bit on the low side, particularly when I do some of my test videos. And some of these golf balls showed that. You'd be looking generally between 6,000 and 7,000 spin with a 7-iron. Lowest spin was the Srixon at just over 6,100. Highest was the Nike at 7,000. So, for me personally, shows that Nike's obviously been a good ball for that. As we move on to pitching wedge, again, distance is almost identical. Spins were very different here, though, I thought. We're looking at anything from 8,500. Generally, I think we'd be looking for certainly between 9,000 and 10,000. Up to, again, the Nike one at 9,757. So, from my perspective, the ball I've played this year has definitely been good. The really interesting one for me, though, was the pitch shots. All very consistent on carry between kind of 60 and 64 yards, which I think over 10 shots is good, shows I'm fairly consistent in what I do. Did surprise me massively, though, that the Pro V, the Srixon, and the TaylorMade were a little bit low on the spin side. Chrome Soft spun a lot. 6,841's a lot for me. And then the Nike one somewhere in the middle at 5,600. So, certainly as I was hitting the shots, that's what I kind of felt like the Callaway one was spinning more. But all in all, not a massive difference for me on the fuller shots, and particularly with the longer clubs. Right, guys, so as we went through the numbers there, and I appreciate there was a lot of numbers to look at, certainly with driver and 7-iron, I didn't see a big difference in those. And for me, what's marketed from manufacturer to manufacturer is you'd be led to believe that they're hugely different. Certainly driver and 7-iron, like I said, not a big difference. I thought when we got into wedges, we started to see a difference on those. And For me, maybe some of the more modern technology in ball. And I know some of the manufacturers will argue that their model has been updated over the year, but maybe some of the other manufacturers have just crept a little bit ahead on pitching wedge and certainly on the pitch shots. I mean, for me, obviously, any of you guys watching, you'll know that I play that ball, and I mentioned it earlier in the video. I mean, the pleasing thing for me there was it showed it actually performs really, really well as a golf ball for me. And hopefully any of you guys watching, I'm not just playing that ball because I get looked after with that. What was very, very impressive, that on pitch shots. You know, the Callaway Chrome soft ball, a really, really good quality, high spinning ball for those pitch shots. So, I mean, certainly for me, if I was playing and maybe looking to get a bit more stop with some of those, there might be a little bit of technique involved in there that I could work on that, but that definitely spun a little bit more. So guys, hope you found that interesting. Like I said, it's something I've been looking to do for a while. Leave any comments below. Let me know which golf ball you play. Let me know if this might make you change which golf ball you play. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hopefully see some of you guys down here in the future. Stay in contact.